Welcome back to my channel, Legends. My name is Soul Betty. You can call me Soul. You can call me Betty. Hit that like and subscribe down below. You can call me anything you like as long as it's tasteful. All right, we're going to jump right into it today, and we are going to talk about my first run through of Warzone. I want to start by giving you a look into the mindset that I had with Call of Duty, and we're going to use Nate Shot and what he recently said about COD haters, because I think I fit very well into this category, minus leaving anything into the chat. I hate this game so much, I just always thought that there's no point in even saying anything about it. But let's look at this real quick.
If you are hating on this Call of Duty, you never liked fucking Call of Duty in the first place. You're just jamming up the airwaves with your shitty-ass opinion. It's Call of Duty. It's not much different year to year, and maybe that's what you hate about it. But don't come into chats every single year like, I'm not buying this fucking game. Well, we know. We don't want to hear about it. It's Call of Duty. It's not that much different, so shut the fuck up.
All right, so now you're thinking, well, why would we start with that? If you hate COD, why would you do a first run through of COD? Well, let me start with this. I actually enjoy this new game for some specific reasons, and I'm going to start out with those reasons on why you should play COD, and then I'm going to end it with some of the things that we ran into that, you know, kind of frustrate me about COD and has in the past, but I can get over it to continue to play this game, and maybe, just maybe, this will become one of my favorite games. So first and foremost, I think the coolest thing that this game did was add proximity chat. And this is a lot of fun. We used to see this in H1Z1. You could see it in PUBG, The Division. There's a lot of games that had proximity chat, but this one has been a lot of fun dropping in and just having that proximity chat, hearing some of the things that some of the players are saying. You know, just makes it a lot of fun as a group, as long as you're playing with friends, because I notice people don't use microphones, which is weird when you're playing in a proximity chat game. But this really kind of heightened the game and gives it an extra flavor to it, and I think it's a lot of fun. And we haven't really ran into a whole lot of toxicity in proximity chat, which is making the game even that much more fun. Another thing that I think is drawing me into Call of Duty is DMZ. I think that this game mode is genius. It's something that I played when I was playing Division, and I thought that the way that this game mode is thought out and the way that this game mode is played is a lot of fun. I think it's very intricate and it keeps my attention span going. A good balance between real players and AI. You know, you're running through, you're doing missions, you're shooting these AI, you're getting comfortable, and all of a sudden a squad rolls up on you that are real players. You can tell by their movement, by their aim, that they are real players, and then you just kind of get into it, right? And with proximity chat, this makes it a lot more fun as well. But I think where they really got it right was the problem I had with Division was the third-party shooting. I wasn't really a huge fan of that. And I just didn't think that they did it well, you know, versus like a Fortnite that I thought did a little bit better. But I thought The Division was a really good game, and I think COD just kind of took that and brought it to a whole nother level. And if you haven't dropped in, I think that this is something that you need to do and have a lot of fun with. So that's a huge reason why I'm liking COD right now. Another reason why I think this COD is really good, and this is going to be a really obvious one, is just playing with friends, right? I have a lot of friends that started out on Call of Duty and will only play Call of Duty, and I kept avoiding it just because I'm not a huge fan of Call of Duty, as I've stated in the past. I'm an Apex player, playing a little bit of Overwatch right now, even some Fortnite. Didn't really get into Call of Duty too much outside of like the death matches and the skirmishes and things like that. And even that, I didn't play a whole lot. I think the run and gun play is really good, but I've always secretly been kind of an EA fan and a Battlefield fan. And typically they were launching around the same time, and I would always kind of migrate over to Battlefield. That just felt like a higher skill level and a lot more strategy to it versus the run and gun of Call of Duty. Finding that going back, I can really appreciate what Call of Duty is bringing from a friendship standpoint, playing with friends I haven't played with for a long time. And just the run and gun style has been a lot of fun. And I think that this is really going to play well with some of the other games that I'm playing with. But it's different enough where it's keeping me entertained, and having these different game modes is helping out as well. All right, and then the last one is the most obvious one. I think that the BR continues to improve. I did play a little bit of Warzone, and it was fun. It wasn't a bad game by any means, but it wasn't something that I could get into. I still, at this point, would prefer to play Apex. That's just, it is what it is. And then probably secondary, I would go into Fortnite, right? So this is not going to be my primary game from a BR standpoint. So what you're going to see me doing is playing DMZ quite a bit, because I think that that is a very unique game mode, and there's no other game out there right now that has it, that's built in quite like Call of Duty. So this is what's going to really draw me into the game. But, you know, depending on how many players we're playing with, we may drop in and do some BRs from time to time and really start getting used to it and see if we can get some dubs stacked up. So, you know, that being said, it is a fun part of the game. And I think that although it's not number one on my list by any means of BRs, I still think that it's pretty cool, and that you can have a lot of fun when you're playing with your friends. All right, so now I'm going to hit some of the things, and you know, I've stated it already. I wouldn't call myself a hater of COD, but I definitely ignored the game and was not, it's never been a primary game. It probably never will be. Very much like Nate Shot said at the start of this video, if you're a hater, quit hating on it. It's COD, it's the same thing. So let me start with the obvious one. He hit it, right? It just feels like it's the same game over and over and over again. Very much like sports games with EA. You get the same game with a little bit of variation, and then you've got to go buy that. And that kind of bothers me a little bit, right? Like, send out some more patches. Don't make me rebuy the game. Now you're saying, well, in Warzone, you don't have to buy it. You are right. You do not have to buy Warzone. You can drop in, you can play the DMZ, you can play the BR, and I do appreciate that, and I think that that's pretty cool. But it does feel like it's the same game over and over again, and I would like to see either some variations or just some patches that would keep the game going. All right, the second thing that has really bothered me about this game and almost made me not play it was just the install. I had to uninstall and reinstall twice for this game to work. I don't know what's going on with the launcher, but I did find that some of my friends also had to do this, and that was just very frustrating. It got to the point where I was going to play with one of my friends. I called him up, said, hey, let's jump on in 10 minutes. And an hour and a half later, I was able to get into his lobby. This was something that was just rough. And I thought, well, you know, maybe it's me. Maybe my technology is not working, or maybe I forgot how to uninstall Call of Duty since it's been so long. But I found that with 3 out of the 4 people I've been playing with that have been on PC have had some similar issues. And that is just a no-go for me. But we did get it installed, and we have been playing. So, you know, I think there's probably a lot of players out there that might not have had the patience that I did and just said, hey, we're done with this. Another thing that's a little bit frustrating for Call of Duty that they need to get fixed pretty quickly is after we leave game and go back to the lobby, we always lose a player. What we've been noticing is this has been happening to both console players and PC players. I play with a variety, and it's been almost every game so far. The other piece to it is that when PC gets kicked out, a lot of the times you'll freeze, and you either have to wait it out, which usually takes about 90 seconds, and then it'll bring you back into game. So if you're in lobby and you can wait it out, usually it will bring you back, or you've got to end task and reload the game, and or you'll freeze right in the middle of a game, and that can be very frustrating. This has happened to me now in both the BR mode while I was in game, and it also happened to me in DMZ, which was very frustrating because I was getting ready to extract and wasn't able to extract what I was needing to extract. So these are just things that Call of Duty needs to be fixed, and needs to be fixed right away. All right, the last one that can get pretty frustrating for me is not playing Call of Duty and coming over here and kind of navigating through the menu. The menu is not intuitive at all. Just trying to figure out how to mute people and unmute people, especially if I'm using Discord. I'll get some of that feedback. It wasn't really super easy. I figured it out now, but when you play things like Apex, Apex has probably got the most intuitive menu system, or one of the most intuitive menu systems. I'd say even Fortnite is pretty good. And then Overwatch is a little bit more difficult, but Call of Duty has been the most difficult one so far. There's a lot of things going on. And yeah, I get it. If you put thousands of hours, it's going to become easier. But you got to think, if you're trying to bring new players into the game and keep them here, make that menu system a little bit easier to use. And I think that'll be a lot more fun. All right, gamers, well, I appreciate your time, and hopefully for the folks out there that enjoy COD already, I did it some justice in the playability of it, the things that I liked and the things that I disliked. And for the players that don't play Call of Duty, I want you to really focus on the things that I liked, because it is something that I've avoided this game for the last 2.5, 3 years. I've picked it up a few times and I will uninstall it every single time. This is the first time that I've sat here and I'm like, okay, I enjoy this game. A lot of it has to do with the DMZ game mode and obviously playing with friends. But I can say that the gameplay is a lot of fun. Obviously, the run and gun for Call of Duty has always been a lot of fun. So I would encourage you to definitely try this game out. Give it a shot, play with some friends, and then leave some comments down below of what you find is most enjoyable and what's most frustrating about this game. So on that, I'm going to leave you with this, gamers. If you see me in the arena, whether it's Apex, Overwatch, or Call of Duty, fire up that microphone, say hi, let's focus towards the dub, let's have some fun, and until next time, enjoy yourselves.